So you said that you'd like to talk about your daughter's death. Tell me about the most important things that you'd like to address currently.
I honestly don't know. I've never been in an office or a clinic setting like this before. I've always been afraid what people would think about me of the going into the little blue building out on the highway, the stigma. I just always have sucked it up and dealt with it on my own. Um, just kind of feel like I'm not me, kind of like I'm just a different person. I want to stay in bed a lot. I have to literally force myself to eat, which just isn't me. I have literally no idea what's going on with me. I just wish I could, just kind of snap out of things. Maybe I just need to be doped up on some of those pills that y'all offer here and feel
Um,
better, make me feel
well,
better.
let me first just say, it's very brave of you to come in today for this first step. And I'm a therapist, so I can't offer you any pills. But what I can do is help you kind of examine some of these feelings and motivations behind some of your behaviors, and maybe we can work on some solutions together. So what I hear from you right now is that you're feeling down and sometimes empty inside. Um, but at the same time, I sense that you're ready to start moving into a state that might be more effective for you.
A more effective state? I'm shocked that I'm actually even thinking about this positively, at least positively. I never thought something like this would ever happen to me.
Confusing aspect of this for you, I would think, is that you're not too sure why you're doing what you're doing. However, you are sure that you're beginning to think more positively about changing some of these things that are going on in your life.
And like I said, hey, this is hard for me in my initial statement. I've never been to a place like this before. Never shared anything like this with anybody before, so bear with me. It all started back in July of 2015 when I learned that my daughter had passed away in a jail cell by hanging herself. And they didn't get her the proper help that she needed. We always didn't have the best of relationships, but before the incident happened, we were able to take a trip to Oklahoma a couple months before, and we're able to iron things out between us.
It sounds as though you deeply cared about her. I just want to state real quick that in terms of, your fears about opening up, that your privacy is protected here. And anything you say to me stays between us unless you're a danger to yourself or others. So you can feel free to tell me anything that you want. And right now what I hear you saying is that you deeply cared about your daughter. And I'd like to hear some more about that.
It's she's one of three other children. I have grandchildren also, and I never imagined how hard it would be to lose a child. I love all my children. I like I said, I never thought how I would feel this way after losing one of my children.
And this loss that happened, this is when you started noticing these changes in yourself.
Yeah, one of the main changes that I noticed right off is I'm typically a social person. One of the main changes that I noticed right off was, I didn't have any energy. I wanted to sleep 14, 16 hours a day. And that just isn't me.
Okay, so you attribute this oversleeping to your lack of energy, right? And did you do anything to try to limit your sleep?
I didn't, when you're, I guess, if it's called depression, when you're in a depressed state, I only had blinders on, kind of tunnel vision, to where I didn't really see, other options other than sleeping 14 to 16 hours a day.
Okay. How about your appetite? What's been going on there? Have you been eating less or more? Have you gained or lost more than 10 pounds in the last month?
So, and I'm glad you asked that question because that's another area that's been a concern for me. My appetite, I typically eat, three balanced meals a day, try to stay pretty healthy. And I've always wanted to lose weight. But one of the things that I've noticed about ever since feeling down is that I have to force myself to eat, and that's just not me. Hey, I even lost 25 pounds.
hmm This sounds like some real honesty coming from you, some real, uh, you know, truthful appraisals of your situation. And I just want to, check in with you and make sure that nothing like this has ever happened to you before.
No, I mean, there's been the periods of sadness. There have been periods of joy. You cry because you're happy at, like when your daughters do good at school. Um, but nothing this severe has really happened to me like this before. And, my family started noticing immediate changes in me, and they got really concerned about me, which is why I'm here.
Okay, so, and anyone objectively could look at your situation and say what you're going through is not easy. It's a rather hard situation. And it sounds like from what you're telling me that you feel like your family is standing next to you. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, they are, but there are times where I get so sad that I start, crying in front of them, and I've never done that before.
How often would you say you cry in front of your family?
It typically varies. It started off maybe once a week. And it started off pretty lightly, and then it started increasing up to 5 to 6 times a week, where to the point where I just couldn't control my crying.
Okay, so this is interfering with your daily life. This is interfering with your ability to do your normal activities, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so have you ever considered that, why do you think that you're doing this crying? Like, what's going on that's prompting this?
Honestly, like I said in the beginning, I just don't know. I know this, I know something like this just isn't me. You know, I I feel ashamed even just opening up to you because I never opened up to anybody before.
Have you ever considered that this crying might be you putting forth a physical manifestation of your feelings so that other people can identify with what you're going through?
I've never thought about it that way, but now that you mention it, and I see that's a real possibility.
These feelings seem to be very strong for you, and this has obviously been very painful. And your courage in coming here today and saying these things out loud, it seems like that's important to you as well.
It is, but I'm just really having a hard time focusing on my life right now.
Mhm. With this awareness, even though all of this scares you, you still, it sounds like you understand and are trying to understand what's going on with you.
I do understand what's going on with me, but I get easily discouraged, and like I said, that's not me. It's um, I was so happy before my daughter passed away, and I just want my life back.
I hear you. That is a very positive statement. And hopefully next week when we meet again, we can talk about some ideas to address your sleep issues and your eating issues and these crying spells. And I just want you to take that I just want my life back attitude with you out into the world next week. And when we get together next time, we'll see how we can do to address some of these issues.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Okay.